We're recording, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Saudi coming to you live and direct from Stand Up Guys with my guest, the man who spreads positivity in wrestling, Sir Cosmo Cooper.
That's me. Happy to be here, Joel. Happy to see you. How are you going?
Cruzy had another show last night, and then we've got Boy next weekend.
Nice. I also had a show last night too at Rock and Roll Wrestling, so I'm pretty tired, but ready to give people a good show today at the Stand Up Leisure Centre at Wrestling Go.
So, let's talk about your issue with North Shore Wrestling. What is going on there? Like, do they hate you or something?
So, for the past year and a half at IWA, I've also been a referee, sort of been living a bit of a double life sort of thing. And, you know, Will Keaters, Sam Osborne seemed to think that maybe I had been screwing them over, costing them, making them lose, but honestly, I think they've just been doing it to themselves. I hold no hard feelings, but apparently they hold hard feelings to me. I thought we'd resolved it after I pinned Will Keaters at St. John's Park and won myself a full-time contract to be an IWA wrestler, but apparently they're still not over it, but it's okay, we'll see where that goes.
Alright, what got you into wrestling?
So, pretty much, we're at the Stanhope Leisure Centre right now, right?
Correct.
You know the library that's just over there?
Correct. Yes.
When I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, I used to borrow these DVDs from the library over there. And it was like Best of the Attitude Era, Best of King of the Ring, Best of Hell in a Cell, all this stuff like that. So I didn't actually watch wrestling on TV like weekly. I actually got into wrestling from like borrowing these DVDs from the library and just like consuming all this content about wrestling just through DVDs. And that's pretty much how I got into it. And once I was like into it, I then started to watch like the weekly television and started to get into that. I'm really young, so I wasn't born around the time of the Attitude Era or like growing up around then. But I actually watched like the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, all that before I watched the stuff from my time, if that makes sense. Like just from like watching old DVDs and tapes and YouTube and all stuff like that, pretty much.
So when did you first like start training to be a referee?
So I started training to be a referee around early 2023, I think. So I was already training to be a wrestler at this point, but PWA, which is the place where I train at, they were after some referees. And I think it was really early 2023, maybe January, February 2023 that I started refereeing and was doing that all the way up until this August recently. So did it for about a year and a half.
Now, over the past few months, you've been in MK+Ultra
Yes.
with Sir Michael Spencer and Kai Drake.
Yep, that is correct.
Do you have a problem with those two, or is it the other way around?
I didn't see it as a problem. Listen, MK+Ultra are my two idols in Australian wrestling. I think they're the greatest tag team in the world. Some people don't think that, but I believe they are. We did have our differences at first. See, I've always been a fan of them. I've always wanted to be a part of their group. I've aspired to be like them. But I don't think they liked me at first. Specifically, Michael Spencer, I don't think liked me at first. But I'm happy to say that I am officially in MK+Ultra as of Coliseum this year. I'm officially a part of the group. And I know Kai Drake likes me. He definitely likes me. Michael Spencer, we might still be winning over. But I think I'm growing on him. I think we're getting places.
What was it like being in your very first Coliseum? Like not in the tournament, but like on the show.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was insane because the first time. So when you start to train to be a wrestler, you go to the shows and you like help out, right? You like that's how you, for like as they say, pay your dues. You go, you help out, you set up the ring. I still do that to this day, but more so when you are first starting. That's how you show that you really want to do it. The first time I ever did that, was at PWA's King of the Metro in 2022. So in the Metro Theatre. So this, and that was when I watched that show in that packed Metro Theatre, I knew the PWA was the right place to be training. And I guess it was kind of full circle when early this year I was in the King of the Metro Rumble. So I was like, I never thought that I'd ever be able to compete in that arena, right? In the Metro Theatre. And then fast forward to just a month ago, just being able to be in front of a packed crowd of 700 plus people, teaming with Michael Spencer, oh my God, the energy is I wasn't out there very long, but the energy was just crazy, and things like that is why I want to be a wrestler and why I'm so passionate about it, pretty much. That's the best way I can explain it, but it was, oh God, I can't even put into words the feeling of wrestling at the Metro Theatre, at Coliseum.
What was it like wrestling in Dubbo?
Oh, I love Dubbo.
I thought it was I done both parks. I thought Parks was pretty good, but Dubbo, they were loud.
Oh, Dubbo went crazy.
They went off their heads.
Dubbo. See, my favorite crowds to wrestle in front of are country crowds, just because country crowds never, they don't get many events out their way, pretty much. So when they get wrestling once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years, they go mental for it. So I love wrestling in front of those crowds, and I got to tag with Jessica Troy against the Prefects, where I would never, because the Prefects were already broken up when I started training, pretty much. So the fact that I can say that I wrestled both Jimmy Townzen and Billy Preston in a tag team match is pretty insane. But no, that was Dubbo. I have good memories of Dubbo. That was a very good show. But just any country show, a pretty good, another really good one was Armadale I did for IWA a few months ago as well. That was a rabid crowd. One that you wouldn't think would be a rabid crowd, but they were just they were eating out of the palm of our hands, pretty much. It was fantastic.
Who'd you face last week at RWA? Oh,
I faced Sam Osborne.
Oh, that idiot.
Yeah, I faced Sam Osborne. That didn't turn out very well for me. I unfortunately lost that match. But it was a match I was very proud of. Obviously when you're wrestling a guy the caliber of talents that Sam Osborne is, you're bound to have a very, very competitive and good match. So I'm watching that back. I'm very proud of that match. Unfortunately, it didn't come away with the win, but that was very close to where I live, so I got to have some of my friends and my family be there to watch that one. So I was very happy with that, but I'm sure the little saga with me in North Shore is nowhere near finished, and hopefully I have a chance to maybe get some revenge.
I heard about the show on the Wollongong show on Friday night.
Yep, Fight at the Frat.
Jimmy Townsend cheated.
Oh.
Still the champion.
Yeah.
Took Randall's mask off. Which is a big NO.
That's a little controversial, I'd say. It's very disrespectful to take off a mask, wrestler's mask. Listen, Jimmy Townsend has been, he's one of my main mentors at PWA, I'd like to say. So, listen, I can't say I agree with what he did to get the W, but I guess you got to do whatever it takes to win, you know? I'm not saying I do that, but I do. All I can say is I have a lot of respect for Jimmy Townsend, for everything he does. Look, he just wrestled Grayson Waller on one of the biggest Australian wrestling shows in history at Coliseum. So you got to have a lot of respect for that man, despite maybe he does some controversial things, has some odd tactics, but I have a lot of respect for the man nonetheless, and he's taught me a lot in my journey of becoming a pro wrestler so far.
Where can people find you on social media? Because we have a very busy day. We got wrestling go today, good folks.
Yeah, you can find me at Cosmo Cooper 12 on Instagram. That's the only thing I'm actually on.
guys, Mr. Cosmo, we just shook hands.
Yep, we did. We
And
shook
happy
hands.
days, folks.
Happy days.
And we're done.